All right, y'all. Welcome to the Thursday Options Millionaire stream with Bookmap, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us, do a little trading with us, learn with us. First, we'll go over the disclaimer here. Material information and presentation is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and should not be considered specific investment advice, nor recommendations. Any and all statements made on this channel are the sole opinions of the Options Millionaire channel and should not be taken as financial advice. No financial decision should be made based on this material shown here on the channel. Trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Any investor could potentially lose all or more than their initial investment. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security nor lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should be considered trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Trading is one of the riskiest and most difficult tasks one can undertake. It must be approached with extreme caution. Do not invest any money that you cannot afford to lose. Excellent, excellent. We're all going to be big boys and big girls. Learn how to trade. So today has been a mover. We had a nice directional move, actually two directional moves overnight to fill the imbalance before coming all the way back off to put in a new lows, and now we are consolidating as we are initiating once again price discovery. The auction house is open. The buyers and sellers are stepping up to the plate, both of them, and defending this level. We are just oscillating around 40.75. You see on the SPY chart I've got here, we are just trading level to level. So far, we are just trading right around S2, using S1 and S3 as support and resistance, and then oscillating around yesterday's close. And this is all absorption right here, absorbing all these orders. The bottom screen you see here is the VIX 20.29. And then on the Bookmap, we've got liquidity posted lower. Now, if you zoom all the way out to this morning, you see they shifted all the way down to 40.40. Now, this was 8:30 in the morning here. So we opened up. You had all this liquidity lower, and that was a telltale sign right there. And on the way down, we filled substantial amount of icebergs. You see 4,500 in this time block, 1,000 on the way down on this big momentum push down. And they, on the lower end, they stuck on 40.50. They stuck on 40.40. Before eventually selling out here right at 40.80, 40.75. The big player today, of course, is Apple. Apple has just kind of smiled at everything. It's like a freight train, like shooting a BB gun at a freight train. You just shoot at it and it just smiles at you and keeps on coming. So Apple continues to be the golden child here. Of course, we have earnings coming up in 3 hours. In 3 hours, we'll know the extent of the Apple movement. So that's pretty much it. This morning, I took a nice little put. I intended, my opening strategy today was just kind of take my hands off and just watch for a little bit, because I know there's going to be a lot of liquidity grabs and traps as we're kind of absorbing the last big catalyst of this quarter, which is Apple earnings. We had, which is highly anticipated, and then of course the last of the big tech stocks. So this quarter we've had bank earnings wrap up 2 weeks ago. We had tech earnings wrap up this week and last week, and then of course FOMC. Now we still have CPI next week. Meh, it's pretty much a non-event these days. We already pretty much know what's going to happen. The only way a CPI will be an event is if it posts a big hot number to show that inflation is now spiking, which, if you think about it, could happen just because inflation works in waves, just like everything else. Inflation spikes, then comes off big time, then spikes again even higher, and then comes off big time, then spikes again even higher, and comes back down. So who knows? We may get a spike in CPI and the further ones. Who knows? So, having said that, our job today is to use Bookmap and the order flow to really show what the intent of this market is today. Right now, we've got a lot of liquidity stacked lower. You see that we've absorbed most of this stuff here. There was a ton of order flow to the south, and we've came down and eaten through all of it, and now we're just really fighting on the bid and the ask. As we're moving here, they're just straddling the price and the bid and the ask, which is normal activity. I'm not really too focused on this stuff here. I want to focus on the outlier moves. And to the north, we don't really have much. You see that the dealers have put in, a little bit of order flow up top, 4,100, which is normal stuff, 0 levels. 4,120s up top there. They're putting on a little bit of 4,145, but the main stuff is down here, 40.50, 40.40, that they've stacked as we've moved lower. So that is quite surprising. There are two things that I'm watching, something that's happened in the past and something that should be looking for in the future. In the past, what I'm looking for is how we deal with, I'm going to switch over to ES here for a second to really show you what I'm kind of pinging with. In the past is the morning range, and this is something we talk about. Market maker's rule is going to be the morning high and the morning low of the first hour. And that's something Linda Raschke talks about. So, what I've done is I've plotted the opening high and the opening low. Now, this is the first hour of the day right here. So 8:30 Central. These are Central times, by the way. 8:30 Central, and you come on down 9:30. So this is the first hour, and this is the first pivots. And wouldn't you know, we just put in a nice double bounce off that morning pivot. And what Linda Raschke goes on to talk about is that the morning high and the low sets the tone for the entire day, because when the algorithms kick on and you get that big volume push right here, that the algorithms set their parameters, whether it be this is going to be the high, this is going to be low, and it's high confidence to put in some trade analysis around those levels. Now, when you interpret Bookmap down here, which is great, is that when you start stacking this considerable amount of liquidity at these levels, it really shows you that there is a good amount of demand there, because they've piled a bunch down there, we absorbed it, and now we're up here. So from there, this is the midday lull, but we are getting volume lull, I should say, because price action is not too shabby here. We are bouncing off 4063, but the volume has dropped off. So from here, where are they going to stack liquidity? If they the second part of what I was talking about is that there's two things I'm looking at: what's happened before and what's happened in the future. Happen in the future is I'm looking towards power hour. The algorithms will tip their hand to their sentiment or positioning with the last hour of the day. And I'll be looking on the Bookmap to show where they're going to pin liquidity. So from an outlier standpoint, I want to focus on the high level stuff. I want to give a little zoom out. Are they putting on any egregious levels? Because if Apple misses or hits in a very big way, we'll have a pretty outlier move. Maybe a 1% move into tomorrow. Not to mention tomorrow's the end of the week, and we like to trend on the end of the week. So are they going to be placing any major orders on the book, either up or down? Also, going into the close, I need to figure out if they put on a weak close down to 40.40, that will tip their hand to weakness going into the event. If you see the algorithm sell off under significant sell pressure and we come down and fill this order at the 40.40, that will be a substantial thing to take a look at going into the event. And then if you're looking to play futures when Apple posts, you could look for a short, or even into tomorrow, you could take a look at puts in that example. But that's what I'm tracking. On the NASDAQ, the same thing. Now, in my opinion, it's especially with Apple event, NASDAQ, QQQ, XLK, any of those tech-related stocks, if you could track the liquidity or track the order flow on that, you can find a lot of outlier moves. Specific one, because is that NASDAQ is a much larger notional than it is ES. So there's obviously the numbers you're going to be dealing with is smaller, which helps identifying an outlier a little bit easier. So as NASDAQ is climbing back up, I'll be looking particularly into the bell for any kind of major liquidity areas right here. Mainly up here, we've got 13. You see right here, 13 what? 13,180 starting to form, which is about 100 points up right here. Got a couple of questions there on the stream. Thanks, Jacob. Appreciate it. Do you have any idea if QQQ is going lower? Well, I'll have to wait. I'll have to wait for the power hour close to see what we're doing. On the daily chart, we're starting to show some weakness here. Now, everything is coming into a supportive area, which is prior buying areas. Now we need to figure out, what's the price action of how I'm going to do that. We come in here. Obviously, buyers are defending. Every time we've dipped down into this buy range today, twice now, we've bottom wicked and went higher. However, all that goes with a little asterisk beside it that we have Apple earnings, and I'm not even going to pretend to know what's happening with Apple earnings. It's an earnings event. So, is this a bonus stream? Yeah, every Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, I'm streaming with Bookmap on Bookmap's channel and on their server. So welcome. When do you think this market is going to bottom out? When? I have no idea. I think it's a very foolish to try to think of when. I mean, even Michael Burry, the Big Short, it took him 2 years for his trade to actually manifest. So who knows? I do think it will bottom out, yeah, but I have no idea when. This market is so heavily manipulated. I mean, look at now. We've got Russia, Ukraine. We've got now multiple bank failures, just everything in the world, right? And yet we're still, over 4,000. I mean, today we have multiple bank stocks down 20, 30, 50% overnight, and the S&P is almost flat. So it just goes to show you that it's very difficult to short this market just due to the nature of what we're currently dealing with in this economy, or in this market, with zero DTEs and the whipsaw of the options market. So who knows? All I know is that just to play the ups and plays the downs. That's it. So speaking of which, Right now, we are trucking on through R2 or S2, right back up to the swing high level, which is about 40.90, making our way maybe back up to 4100, 40.98 here, which is the imbalance that was filled or that initiated overnight. Now, if you look and talking about the book, about the balance and imbalances of the market created an imbalance right about here, sold all the way off, and magically, look where we rejected overnight, right there, right? Came back up, filled the imbalance of the order book, entered back into balance, and then we are free to roam about the cabin, free to go about the continuation downward. We put a new low in, and now here we are consolidating. So a great example of how you have to fill the imbalance, or not have to, but the chances are you're going to fill that imbalance to make the book back balanced before the next move. Going up into Apple earnings. And we can help do this here. Now, when I'm trying to track these liquidities on ES, maybe trying to find a good area where they're going to fill balance or begin in a balance, I should say, is do I have any outlier liquidity in terms of distance as well as numerical value? I know a couple of days ago we had, or yesterday we had what, a 2,800 order sitting at 40.70. That's very, very much an outlier level. When I see something like that come on, that proves maybe possibly intent. It provides a little bit of direction to where the market could head. You just have to make sure you time your short right or call whichever you're headed. In this case, it was down. But to provide some direction there and timing to short back down to 40.70. And once the morning broke and started to sell off, that was a decent target. We ended up settling just under 40.70 to 40.63, which, things work in ranges. It is a crazy time, Newton. Yeah, it is a very crazy time. We're feeling the full throes of a bear market. Bear markets are incredibly difficult trade for a reason, because they don't go straight down. They go up and down and sideways, and I'm sure if there's a way for them to go left, they would find a way. And that's what we're dealing with right now. All right, still kind of creeping on up. I'm still watching Apple. Apple is skyrocketing. Microsoft now is really joining the fun. Microsoft is up 1.8% today, 1.08%. Amazon's going on a full point. Apple is doing its best to try to creep back into positive territory. I was looking for about 167.5 on Apple today for a imbalance fill, but they didn't get up there just yet. They could make another wave move back. Back up there. ES is currently 40.90, a high volume node high. VIX is coming off. But what I'm majorly seeing here on the book is the fact that, one, CVD is trickling green. They're starting to stack a little bit more liquidity up in the 4100 area. So as we kind of creep higher, so as we start coming up this way, let me get the right thing here, line. As we start kind of creeping up this way, I want to track this area. I want to keep my eyes situated to see if they're going to start balancing this, offsetting this lower stuff with some liquidity above. If the book is skewed, then I don't necessarily anticipate this thing to start skyrocketing on up. It could happen, but especially with momentum. But unless the volume doesn't hit here, I need to see the buyer start to balance this book up top, 41.12 up into the 41.20. Otherwise, we're going to run the risk of rejecting this range, putting on a double top, such as we put on a double bottom, and coming back down. Now, right now, we're in that double top area for the swing area. And if we did reject, I would look for another target to come right back down, because right now you see that the book is skewed to the south, 40.50, 40.37. So right now my eyes are about right here to see if they're going to start stacking any liquidity up higher, and then even anything above that. Maybe something that'll skew my directionality here going into Apple. So yeah. VIX is starting to drop off just a touch here, 40.88. It looks like they're going to zoom in. I want to zoom in on here and see any orders. We have a 205 stop. So the stops are really just trickling in here. I don't see any major stops. That one's kind of big, but nothing crazy. I don't see any major stops or icebergs for that matter. We came down right here at 12:45 Eastern. which was about 30 minutes ago and filled a larger iceberg. But right now, no other icebergs. Volume is incredibly light. We're just kind of creeping up. And now we've got this final liquidity right here at 40.90, 40.91. So watch how this thing absorbs. It's pretty small though, only about 280 orders or so. And we've got NASDAQ that's coming up. Here with another block of liquidity there. But look at them. NASDAQ put on this 30.90, about 10, 13 points down. $31.05. So watch this liquidity fill here. So I'll be watching to see, do we get that big buyer's push, that big green bubble, to absorb and trickle up to possibly 4,100. 4,100 would come back up to the day's highs, the morning high level we talked about, which would be right up here, this level right here. That would put us not only at 4,100, but it would also fill out this liquidity right here. So it would be that 4,100.00 level, which is a key pivot. We've got the top of the morning, and boom, there's that green candle right there to absorb that 40.90 liquidity. Right there. No icebergs came in right there, so that was just a straight liquidity grab of 40.90. That is also that broke out that pivot right here. So far we don't have a double top just yet. Let's watch how this candle closes. These are 5-minute candles right here. So let's see how this candle closes. If that's strength, then it's going to hold, which it looks like it will, into that 4,100 area. So nice little absorption there and holding just under 40.80. What I don't want to see, if you're looking to go long here, or we're looking for a breakout or continue to hold long positions, I don't want to see them absorb and then immediately just liquidate down. I don't want to see that. We need to see not only a pop, but a hold of this candle, a closure of this candle, to show that in this session, that an area of prior selling, which is right here, that there's no more supply, even if it is a temporary supply. And that means that the demand will remain and will come up to 4,100. $40.91.50 here on ES. Apple is at their high of the day. So they're at 166.70 right here, 75 and 80. That's the double top right there. If they break that out, that'll be the big push to get us up to possibly 4,100 and beyond. Let's see right here. There it is. Okay. See, now look. Now that they've creeped up here, that's where I was looking. They absorbed that level. Now they're still stacking liquidity higher. They're adding more to the book to the top side, which is what you want to see for a possible hold. I don't want to see just a void landscape up here of no liquidity, where it's completely skewed. A little bit of top wick right here. Any kind of volume spikes I'm forming now, I'm not seeing. In fact, the volume is continually dropping off and off and off. Any kind of downside I would want to see initiated by a spike in volume as the sellers have joined into supply. Possibly 4,100, even though we're still about 10 points off of that. 4,100 would be nice. It would be a nice clean area to pivot with about 300 orders there. Nice 0-0 level. It's where we pivoted this morning. Now I'm just watching. Still holding 40.91, so holding beautifully so far. Drop in volume. VIX is still coming off nicely here. Liquidity is still holding. Small iceberg forming. Just watch this main area right here. Still, the main areas is still this stuff there, way down here, 40, 50, 40, 40. Large order flow that was added today. So managed liquidity. 40.91.50, still holding just above that 90 area, 90 even. And we'll go ahead and clear that out. Clear. There we go. Apple just put a new high of the day in by a couple of ticks. There's that final push, 40.93.50, 40.94 into this liquidity. They absorbed that. They closed and held. See how this candle right there held? So there's no weakness on this candle as you see on the 5 minute. Now it closes in 3 minutes. But now we have the icebergs coming on here. There's a 500 iceberg just filled, 195 absorbing into it, coming up to a quick test of 4100. So once we breach that level, once we hold it, strong sign right there. Strong sign. And now look, bada boopy. Look at that baby right up there. Now the stacking liquidity higher as we're going up. 40.95 into 4100 and a test of the morning high pivot where we sold off. $40.95 holding. Apple new high of the day there. XLF is returning as well. So the fact that financials are kind of jumping on board the recovery train today along with tech is providing this extra little oomph on the S&P. Nice little momentum off, and that's gonna, I mean, that's a beautiful 30-point move off the bottom there. Beautiful 30 points right off the bottom. A great little range. We haven't had this much of a great range day in a while. This much movement, 30 points is beautiful to trade. Although light volume, as long as you're patient enough to wait for these pivots, it's a great day to put on some trades. $40.96. Got all this, 95, and then 4100. Man, what just happened with AMD? AMD just went exponential and is still climbing under incredible volume. Any news on AMD anyone sees? Let me look that up real quick. AMD. Let me see. Microsoft is helping finance AMD's expansion into AI. There you go. There you go. Massive rally in AMD. Tech is falling along with it. Microsoft is up. Apple's up. And there's your rally right there at 30 points. Microsoft up a full point today. So Microsoft breakout zone is about 308. At 308, 308 and a half, that's that breakout where if they can close and hold, we'll look for another run up to about 316, 315. So keep an eye there. It's funny because XLK has already reallocated to bring Microsoft into the top notch. So if they start to do that, if the S&P starts to reallocate Microsoft to the top, then somebody knows something. I always tell the people that follow me is that I'll let the S&P, I'll let the SSGA, the global advisors, do my research for me. If they start allocating a stock higher, there's a reason for that. And I want to be apprised of that movement. You can track that through ssga.com. Right now, Apple is the top dog, and Apple has been the top dog for a number of years. But Microsoft is closing in on it, 6.62%. It's only about 0.4, 0.5% off of Apple. If they start reallocating that, there's your sign. Nvidia is dropping. So the competition, Nvidia is getting smoked. They just dropped 278 down to 272. Yeah, but Psychotic Seal, look what you did, though. Look what you did. I mean, I know everyone's looking at tech right now, but, I mean, very careful to buy calls at the highs. You remember how we played breakouts? If you're not in a long position right now, you do not want to be. This is not the time to get in. It's not the time to get in a call right here. Where you want, there's two times to get. If you want to play this level, right here, there's two times to play. There's only two entries for this type of move if you're going long. One of them is right here. Somewhere down in here is a strong entry to go long on this position. The second one is when it breaks out, when it fails, and then uses that prior resistance as support, and then does this. So you would want to enter either here or here. This is not the entry. Right here. This is not the entry. Not to mention, in addition to this high of the day, which is a significant pivot that we've already rejected once, it's also 4,100. Just by the 0-0 levels. The algorithms love 0-0 levels. The algorithms love even numbers. There's got to be some supply right here at 4,100. Now we still could absorb and go higher, so you're not destroyed yet. But it's very risky to take a call at the high of the day. Even if we do trend up, you're still going to face some oscillation in price. You're still going to face some absorption, some dropping in price. You're going to face some red. So watch out right here. Anyway, just found this channel. This is some excellent content. Next beast. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for joining. Welcome, welcome. All right, 4091. Still red off of 98 right there. That was a nice little, 9 to 10 point drop. Nvidia is crashing. AMD and Microsoft spiked right into the high of the day. Now, in terms of a 15-minute reversal, if you are looking to short off of this level, if you don't already know, I'm a VPA trader. What does VPA mean? Volume Price Analysis Trader. It's why I use Bookmap so regularly, because Bookmap ties in nicely to volume, because it's an order flow indicator. It's the live visual representation of level 2, which is in and of itself is volume. So what I'm looking for a possible reversal is not only the top wick, but I need the associated volume right here that would give me indications of a rejection. Now, this is the 15-minute chart. So my first indication would come on a shorter dated time frame, such as the 5, which we have. We've got the red, which doesn't have a top wick because the second candle started forming, but since the 15-minute does absorb, 3 candles, which just ended, 15-minute, now we see a nice manifest of a top wick on the 15-minute chart. Now we do have a top wick and we have a spike in volume. That's not high volume. These are high volume. However, it is a spike. So a first indication of a spike in volume. Now, you might ask, why do we have a spike in volume there? Well, let's dig in. Let's go to the 1 minute and see what this high volume is comprised of. Is that just double buyers or is that half buyers, half sellers? So let's go into the 1 minute. You see right there, sellers crept in. Let's go to the 3 minute. You see right there, sellers crept in. Let's go to the 5 minute. Right there, sellers crept in. So we have, and that's the most telling sign right there, is that it's almost the same amount of buyers and sellers into that supply. Let's go back to the 15, all representative of a large spike in volume with a heavy top wick. So now the follow-on is a final confirmation, which is this candle. If this candle fails, now is your time to start looking to go short. If this candle closes strong green, then that just means a failed rejection and most likely will absorb and climb up to R2. So watch this candle. This is a very important candle. Let's go up to the Bookmap again and watch. We've got more liquidity up to 4,100 and they're stacking 4,110 right here. So this is our time here to watch this candle right there on the 15-minute chart. Let's see how this one closes along with the volume. $40.92. All right, stacking a little bit more, and they just doubled down on 41.05. So if I was a betting man, I would say we're going to come up, retest that. We're going to peak up right into 4100. Make sure there's no more supply there. Once we figure out there's no more supply there, we'll come up and absorb 4105. So watch this right here. 226 orders, 4105. We're backfilling that top wick, which is not good if you're looking to short. I don't want to see a backfill. And we're retesting. So watch out for this. We'll come up here, peak our head into 4100. If we absorb that, we'll come up in here. So now what I'm looking for as we're coming up here, do we get any volume spike as we hit 4100? If you get another volume spike on 4100, that's no bueno. We want to see a low volume test to indicate that there's no sellers there. It's primarily buyers, and we're just going to, free to roam about the cabin. Turbulence is off. Seatbelt sign is off. Time to, and you could roam about, and then we'll just kind of trickle on up here and take out 4105. Creeping on up. All right, flagging right here, 40.93. Still watching this candle, and this is where, if you're not someone who normally tracks the longer dated time frames, such as the 15-minute, if this is taboo to you, tracking the longer time frames not only will drive you to be more consistent and confident in your setups because there's more time and data built in, but it'll also force you to be patient. Instead of taking a put or a short right off of that top wick, now you'd be in the red. Right now you're going to be a little more patient and a little more confident, because if this does blast up to like R2 here, 41.10, the 15-minute will have saved you from getting blown out. Wait for that confirmation on the 15. All right, we got 40.94 right there. SPX is 40.78. There's another push right there, backfilling back up. Just watching this order. VIX is dropping back off here as well, so watch this level. We've got this 40.94. Strong support by the buyers. We've got liquidity up top, 41.5. Let's watch the NASDAQ. Ooh, so not only do I have 41.05, they are removing all this stuff. Look at all this stuff. All this stuff just got gutted. All those orders. Now they double down on the 40.50. That's no bueno. Look at that. That was about 500 orders a couple of minutes ago. They've doubled down on that 40.50 level. So watch this right here. See the top wick forming, 15-minute? That's interesting. They got 41.05. So what could happen, just opining here, what could happen is we get, let's see, line. We get this one blow off top up here to absorb this liquidity, and stop out positions, get everyone nice and bullish, chasing up here with calls, and then once they get everybody nice and bullish, they drop this thing all the way back down and fill this 40-50 liquidity, especially with Apple earnings. So, interesting. Watch that from happening. But this is interesting here. That's interesting. Doubling down on 40-50. It's like playing blackjack and doubling down. You get 2 aces. I don't know. Do you double down if you get 2 aces? I guess it depends what the dealer's got, right? Unless you're in the market and you know what the dealer has. 41.05 right up top. 234 orders. Let's see what's come up top. They're starting to put on a little 41.12. They also have 41.20. That's been on for a hot minute. But let's watch how they do that. Another slight top wick formation. Again, these are 15-minute candles. VIX is still coming off. Yeah, split 2 aces. Yeah. In fact, that's worthy of a tweet. All right, there we go. Can you turn the volume up? I'll see if I can. I'll see if I can get that volume indicator up. Yeah, still hanging out. Another top wick on the 15. So there's a first top wick. Second one forming. We still have 7 minutes until the 15-minute candle's closed. But let's go to the 5. See what it looks like. A little bit of red right here, right? So far, this just looks like a little bit of a bull flag right now. But we're not putting in lower lows. We're not putting in higher highs. We're not doing this little fading price action that leads to downside. We're just trading. Right now, we're trading sideways. So I want to be patient for any kind of entries here. Yeah, so I will be adding, if y'all didn't know, that Bookmap has the large lot tracker now. So I'll be adding the large lot tracker as well once I get it added to my charts and analyze it, figure out how to really track it. We'll be including that into the streams as well. I think it'll be a fantastic resource to track those, obviously, the large lots. So gold hit an all-time high today, huh? So think about it. Oil is getting absolutely smoked. The banks are getting absolutely smoked. Gold is at an all-time high. All indicators of a recessionary environment. Oil almost went to the 50s last night, if y'all didn't see. If y'all aren't oil traders, holy crap. All right, now what do we have in the 15-minute? A little bit of topic there, right? By the way, here's oil coming down 69.40. And coming on down. 4100, 4080. Been doing large lot tracking for years. Be interested to see how you incorporate into Bookmap. Yeah, for sure. I'll be interested to input that on this chart. A little bit more value. Good stuff. White House briefing is going on right now. Nice little top wick. Money made time. Oh, there you go. Bronies. All right. Double top wick 15-minute. Let's track the NASDAQ. Make sure we're looking there. Look what NASDAQ just got. A little bit of liquidity here at 13,090. We have what? 150 up top. We've got 175. 13,000 on NASDAQ. Y'all going to be doing a little trading at the bell? When Apple reports, I will be. I'll be streaming again, third stream today in the Discord server. A little bit before and after, so we can trade a little futures action. 4105 here, baby. What do y'all think? Red or green? Red or green with Apple? Close it. Let's say the finality of the earnings. What do you think, red or green? Not just the big, not like something Amazon did, where it's big green, big red. What do you think? Thank you. Big red, green with IV crush. Well, I didn't mean the people taking positions red or green. I made it Apple. We'll always find a way to get everybody red. I think they guide down red. Interesting. What time are they releasing them? I don't know exactly. If I had to guess, I would probably say a minute or two after the bell. Or even a couple of seconds after the bell. And by the way, if y'all haven't already, you can follow me on Twitter, right there. I post constant updates about Bookmap liquidity or anything we talk about here, just in picture format, obviously, about these. The closing volume is going to be insane. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Quest. So in addition to what we're talking about here, what's the final volume and price action, for that matter, of the S&P? That may be a good indication of how the dealers are going to think this thing is going to go. If you see huge selling pressure, we could be in for some red. If you see huge buying pressure, the opposite, right? We'd be looking for a little bit of green, possibly. $100,000 on a 5-minute candle, I bet. Yeah. And of course, you could do what I did yesterday. Yesterday, I put on a future spread. I longed 5 ES, I shorted 3 NASDAQ, and I put stops accordingly. And I actually made money on both sides. I closed the ES at the top. I closed the NASDAQ, not at the bottom, but somewhere down there. And I ended up making some decent money. Not crazy good money, but it's a good way to take a little lower risk trade. If you know how to manage, it's good stuff. The reason why I do 5 to 3 is because the ratio is as such where if I don't manage a position and just let the price action run, it's pretty much break even. You know, if I were to put on a 5 ES long, 3 ES short, and then the market runs up 100 points, it's pretty much break even if I don't manage, if I take my hands off. So that's why I do that ratio. But it worked pretty well. I might do it again today. All right. So this 4105 is still up there. And if you are noticing, if you're late to the game, we got to double down on 4050. I don't see anything added lower. Interestingly enough, they're adding some down to 39.90. Look at that. You see it live ordered. Now, do you know what makes this level interesting? This 39.90. If you look at the volume profile on the 4-hour chart or the 240-minute, if you look at the high volume node on the volume profile, it's right here. So if we do break lower today, that's the importance of today's binary event. If we do break lower, we'll have a quick trip down to mid 3900, anywhere between 39.90 and 39.50, that range. So it's interesting that I look down here and I see a little bit of flow coming in that 39. Where'd it go? It was up here. Yeah, it's interesting. I just saw this stuff come on because that's that target for that high volume node on the volume profile if we were to break red overnight and have a trend down day. That would be about an 87 or so, or about a 90-point drop. So watch that area. And then if we do go down there, be careful shorting through 39.90 because that's the high volume node in the volume profile. There's a good chance there's going to be some support there on the macro scale, obviously. Macro scale. That's way on down there, but macro scale. So watch this area. But they are stacking liquidity lower. Let's see what they're doing higher. They've got some at 42.37 there. Do we have anything higher than that? Nothing crazy though. 41.05. All right. Got about 10 minutes left in the stream. Anybody have any questions of anything we talked about today? Anything we could wrap up? Kind of go over thoughts. Right now we're still holding 40.87, 40.90. Hey, red broke lower. Look at that. So 15-minute is showing some weakness right there. Showing some weakness. Premiums are finally starting to come off here. Is there going to be a stream tomorrow morning? Yes, there is. Are you here every day? On Bookmap stream, I am every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. But I do stream every day, yes. I do stream every day. Nice little red action right there. So now we have a decent amount of weakness here on the 15-minute, confirmed by the volume spike, just like we had down here, just like we had right here. So let's watch this, how this confirms right here. Next liquidity would be 40.80. 40.80 would put us right about there. Coming on down. Still hanging out 40.85. They're taking off that 41.05. They cut that in half. Now that they've doubled down on this 40.50, this is going to be a big point of attention for me into the close. I want to make sure they're not going to spoof this thing, or if they're not going to add to it. If this turns out to be another 40.70, remember yesterday they put on 2,800 orders at 40.70, and look where we ended up. So if they take this off, whatever. But if they start adding to it, then that's a huge level to watch. That's a big level. 1,000 orders. So I trade with only the E-mini for now with Bookmap. Nice Euro. Do you think the 40.50 is a spoof? We'll see. I don't, but we'll see. Thanks, Mr. Beast. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for joining. Just to be sure, are the liquidity levels for futures you're showing the same as the liquidity for the actual index? You talking about right here? No, this is different. So you can track SPY as well, in addition to ES. They're different. But I would encourage you to track both, because SPY is very important for delta hedging. When a dealer is short calls and the market starts to grind, they need to hedge with SPY shares. You have to start buying SPY shares to hedge, and that creates those gamma squeezes. So I want to track SPY as well, in addition to ES. Coming on down here. Do you think watching the 4 time frames at the same is better? 1, 5, 15, 30. I personally don't track the 1, but the 5, 15, yeah, those longer term, and you want to ebb and flow. Don't get sedentary in watching just one time frame. So what I try to do is be signaled off the lower end stuff and confirm off the higher end stuff. The more data I've got, the better. Now, it will reduce the number of trades that you do, because if you're waiting for confirmation on the 15, then it's going to take patience, right? But that's a good thing. You don't want to be slinging trades left and right. You don't want to be taking 15 trades a day. You want to take 2 to 3 high confidence trades a day, get your money, get out, and go get you some Taco Bell. And that's a good thing. So tracking that 15-minute chart is great. So look at this. Now we've been very patient. We have a very high confirmation rejection off the 15 with a decent spike in volume. Now we've got 40-80 liquidity lower, and look, they're adding even 40-65 down south. So right now, probability says we're going to start wiping down this 40-80. As they've now also removed 41.05, they've double stacked 40.50. They're adding 40.65, and I'm looking to see if they can wipe out 40.80, which is only 2 points down, nothing crazy. But yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. I have no idea about anything you're talking about. Do you have an intro video or anything to get me started? I've got a bunch of videos. I've got a full-on educational series. There's not one video that I would recommend to get you started. It's just start watching. Start watching all of them. I've got a number of videos that go all the way back into how to read the option chain, how to read the Greeks, and all the way as advanced as how to defend short premiums. So if you're writing premium, how to defend those. I've got everything in between. So feel free. You could watch those videos, ask me any questions, shoot me a DM. I'll be happy to answer some questions. When are you starting your stream? No, you're good. Yeah, so I start my stream every day about a couple minutes before the market opens. And I stream the first couple hours of the day. Normally, that's it. I just do the morning stream, and that's it. If there's an event, I'll come on again and stream. Today, on Thursday, the Bookmap, I do an additional stream as well. When I'm in a winning position, do you decide to get out while on top or wait for the candle to close? Well, I am always scaling out. Well, I say that 95% of the time, I am not holding. So let's say if I buy 10 contracts in an options trade, I don't hold all 10 the entire time. 95% of the time, I'm scaling out, just because I need to pay for the trade. The market is very erratic. I could do all the analysis I want, and still the market could go against me on the trade. And not to mention, it lowers my emotional investment and allows me to think clearly. So I like to start scaling out anywhere between 20 to 30% profit. That's notwithstanding of the price action. So if I take a put and the market just starts to turn super bearish, then I'll be a little bit longer on scaling out. I'll wait a little bit more. But if the market's just not kind of doing things great, I'll start scaling out 25, 30%, 20%, and then I'll let the runners run, or half the position run, or whatever. Normally, I'm scaling out 50% of the trade is out. I'll leave 50% on. I'll wait. I'll determine what's going on here. I'll scale a little more, and I'll leave some runners on. Do I open trades live? I do. Yeah. Do I use extended hours to do technical analysis for trading day? I do. So I track ES because I love tracking the overnight hours. The overnight hours are important too. I know a lot of people write them off because it's not heavily traded like it is a trading session, but I track ES because I want to track that stuff, mainly because I'm doing a lot of trading around the European market open. When the European market opens, I need to see how the S&P, the global markets, the United States markets, are going to trade around that opening. And that allows me to place on pivots. The 6 levels that I place are going to be the prior session high and low, the overnight high and low on ES, and the current morning high and low, which is what these red levels you see here. And those 6 levels allow me to identify the algorithmic pivots in the market. The market that the algorithms set and reject and bounce, that allows me to identify those levels and trade off of them. What's the name of the prop account I'm testing? I'm currently testing Top Step. I'm Top Step right now. Yeah. In addition to my real trading. All right, so we do have a bottom wick back up, right into 40.89. We still have 40.70 on south. So they took off 40.65, shifted to 40.70, and hanging out right at 40.80. You're welcome, Mike. Are buyers still present in the market? Yeah, you see that bottom wick? So the buyers are still hitting that thing, although the candle's still bearish. Sellers are still winning so far, but yeah, the buyers still hit that. Now volume is still gone here. All this movement that's been made, we need to see how we close into the power hour with Apple coming up on deck. $40.84 failing back down here. Wipe that out. Do you do 1 day out or 2 days out with expiration when it comes to regular long calls? When I'm scalping, I'll do zeros or ones. If I'm doing longer dated trades, it depends. You know, sometimes monthly, sometimes weeklies, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, depends on the trade. I recently took a VIX call that was about a month out, 4 weeks out, and I was one expiration off. If I would have taken, I took May 2nd options contracts, which ended up losing. But if I would have taken May 5th contracts, which expire tomorrow, I'd have been pretty profitable. See how timing is everything. That's correct, Mike. Let's see. Now, all that to say, risk mitigation is absolutely key. Absolutely key. So I tell my followers this: like, no matter what we see on the charts, there's always a level of professional skepticism after about noon. And I posted this little graphic that I came up with here. And it's like, no matter what, it doesn't matter what you see on the charts. Catalysts aside, is that this right here is something to consider. This key market times is that the morning is volatile. It's hit or miss on whether or not I take a trade. These are high confidence, low confidence trade. This is where you want to center most of your trades, between the green and yellow zones, the high confidence and low confidence charts, because that's where the volume is hitting, that's where the momentum is hitting, that's where the higher confidence rejections and bounces are hitting. This stuff, low confidence or even no confidence at all. Most of my trades are going to be in the morning, very little trades in the afternoon, simply because the rejections happen a little more erratically, and the volume is a little more whipsawy, the volume is light, the price action's all over the place. So yeah, so keep in mind that there are times to trade and there are times to not to trade. And this is the structure that I follow, and it keeps me pretty safe. And then if you do want to trade in the afternoon hours, you take smaller position sizing. And you just reduce things back down so you're not getting caught up. Anyway, there is, yeah, Resnos. I am going to wrap it up there. That's the top of the hour, so I have to finish it up. Let me know if you have any questions. If you are new to the stream, if you're unfamiliar with the OM community, come over and check us out. We've got Discord. We've got a website down in the description of the video. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. If not, we're back here on Bookmap in 1 week, Thursday, 1 o'clock. Y'all be safe. We've got Apple earnings today. Don't do anything crazy. Hope you have a good rest of the day and have many, many profits. Love y'all. I'm out. See you.